Good evening. My name is Kenneth Weiss, and I'm here interviewing my friend Jim. Thank you for coming today, Jim.
You're very welcome.
He's been physically active for most all of his life, and he's willing to come and share his experiences with us today. So we're very grateful for that, and look forward to hearing why he feels exercise and staying physically active is important. So we're going to start with our first question we have for you. What motivates you to stay physically active?
Primarily, it's my work. My work is very physical, and it's also seasonal. And so, what I find is that the older I get, the quicker you atrophy and get weak. And so, what I do is I have to, during the winter when I'm not so busy or not so active, I go to the gym and I try to stay physically fit throughout the winter, and that just makes it easier to get started in the spring.
And I can attest to how physically demanding his job is because I've done it with him and he runs circles around me. So you put me to shame. Thanks. Our second question for you is, when did you start an exercise routine? Is it something you did when you were older, when you were younger?
Well, I started, and it hasn't been consistently every day or every week or every year even. But I started becoming exercising, lifting weights when I was in my early teens.
And as you've gotten a little older, how has that changed? Do you still lift weights now, or is it more cardio type things?
Well, I do a little cardio, but I still like to lift weights. I like weightlifting, and I've gotten away from the free weights, which is what I prefer.
Mm-hmm.
But using the machines in the gym isolate muscles, and so it's less likely for you to get hurt with the machines than there is with free weights. But I really prefer free weights.
So our next question is, why did you start exercising?
Because I wanted big muscles.
Well, that sounds like most teenage boys.
And well, basically, why did I start? Is I was kind of skinny back then. I had a 30-inch waist. I was 160 pounds and 6 feet tall. And so, in order to get anything on my meat, I had to lift weights.
And so your motivation or what got you started lifting weights was you wanted muscles. So right now, besides just your job, is it you want muscles still, or is it more for your health? What is it?
It's that I feel better. And what I find is that I've had several life-threatening illnesses throughout my life, and I really believe that staying in shape has helped me get through those crises.
Now, were you always someone that liked to work out by yourself? Did you work with a partner? What are your feelings on that?
If I was doing free weights, heavy free weights, it's always good to have a spotter. I prefer to work out alone because I'm working. But a lot of times when I go to the gym, we go together with my wife, and I help her figure out how to work the machines, because sometimes they're a little confusing as to exactly what you're supposed to do.
And you find it's nice to have somebody there with you. It kind of makes you go to the gym or gives you a little bit of motivation.
Oh yeah. But it's enjoyable too.
So our next question for you is, how has being physically active changed or affected your life?
Well, as I said before, it hasn't changed my life because I've basically been pretty physically fit most of my life. I've had a few eras of time where I've gotten a little pouchy or a little bit out of shape, but I always snap back because I like feeling good.
So do you feel like if maybe you weren't so physically active, maybe some of those health problems you had maybe would have been more difficult? Maybe that exercise routine helped you get through it?
Yeah, I definitely think that being physically fit helped me get through the health crisis that I've had to deal with.
So it has had a big effect on your
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Our next question we have for you is: how do you feel our older ones are treated in being physically active? And then do you feel there's enough places for them to work out, or different types of exercises or classes that tailor to them?
I don't know too much about the classes, but I know where I go to the gym, I would say, what would you say, 50 to 60% are older, older ones. And I think that's because the insurance with Medicare and the supplement, they have a program called Silver Sneakers. And the gym I go to, Silver Sneakers pays pays for it all.
Right.
So it's free for us, and that's encouraging. But I think a lot of people don't have the cash to spend on a gym.
So it's nice to hear that they have a program like that
Yeah.
to help people so they can stay active, especially as they get older when maybe they need it even more.
Right.
So we got a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
What things do you think might prohibit or hold an older one or a mature person from being physically active?
Well, there's nothing that prevents them except possibly their health. But even somebody in moderately poor health can do something generally. But I think health and finances.
Yeah, I think
If they were to work out in the gym, somebody my age could be very ill and just not be able to do it. So that would be an issue.
I think that Silver Sneakers program, I haven't heard too much about it. Maybe if it was more widely known, more people would be able to accept it.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's really a good idea. So that's something maybe they should promote more. Good. How about cardio? If you had to choose over even your lifespan, did you prefer running? Did you prefer swimming, riding a bike? Was there anything specific that you preferred as far as cardio exercise?
Well, when I had my heart surgery, the doc told me to walk my legs off, and so I got up to walking a lot. And I can still walk a long way. I can't run for beans, but I can still walk a lot, and I like walking. But I like the elliptical better than the treadmill. I think the elliptical gives you a better workout. I know every time I get on it, I'm on it for 3 minutes and my legs are starting to burn already, so.
And we got one final question for you. What advice would you give someone like me, who's maybe going to go through some of the similar stages that you've gone through, as regards to staying physically active? What suggestions would you give?
Stay active, and try to keep yourself within 10% of your ideal body weight. Because the older you get, the faster you atrophy. And the more you sit around, the worse it is to get up.
You don't have to tell me. I broke my ankle recently, and my muscle went from this to this in no time. So I'll try and take that advice and stay physically active.
Okay.
So thank you, Jim, for being here and giving us that interview.
Thank you.
So I'd like to thank Jim again. He was very gracious to give his time to come and share his experiences. I've known him for a few years now, and he's had some health problems, but staying physically active is something that's really helped him along the way. It's helped him to give him something to look forward to, and it's helped him to get through some of the physical issues he's had as well. His job is very physically demanding, and it's the way he makes his livelihood, so he has to stay in shape. And I know a lot of older ones that might not be the case. And something I thought was really important was the Silver Sneaker program that he talked about. So for our older ones or our mature ones, it's really nice to see that they do stay active and that there's things out there for them to do. Even though he said he had to slow down a bit, he knows that being physically active has helped him live as long as he has now and will help him live longer into the future. So again, we thank him, and we appreciate the hard work that our older ones do put in, and it teaches the younger ones that we need to stay physically active if we want to live a long life as well. So thank you again.